Well, lovely to be speaking to you today, Jake. Would you mind starting by introducing yourself and your role with the Live to Learn program?
Yeah, hi, Millie. It's really nice to be here. Thank you, everyone, for listening to me. I'm Jake Jones. I'm the Senior Vice President for Impact and Sustainability at Live Golf. Live Golf is a global professional league in the golf ecosystem. We put on 14 events around the world. This is for professional golfers, and we range from events in Australia and South Korea through to Europe in the UK and Spain, as well as Riyadh in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and several in the United States too. So we're a really global organization. My role specifically is to ensure that we deliver really strong, meaningful, outcome-driven impact in the communities where we operate. So quite often that's in the markets where we host events, but also with a view that we have a global approach too that brings it all together, that allows other golf fans, other communities, other markets to tap into the outcome-driven impact that we're trying to achieve. And the other side of the work I do is very much focused on sustainability. So ensuring that we have a really strong sustainability agenda around how we put our events on and how we can champion the importance of nature and low carbon delivery for events.
Brilliant, thank you. And for educators listening who might be hearing about Live to Learn for the first time, can you explain what the innovative partnership is between Live Golf and Discovery Education and what it brings to schools?
Yeah, a little bit of context first on that was when we first started determining where we wanted to play, what we wanted to do when we talk about impact, really took a step back and thought, well, what are the key drivers for opportunity or benefit that communities will see? And we knew that poverty is a terrible affliction that affects so many people around the world, but a very hard thing for a single organization, particularly a sporting organization, to go and say, we will fix poverty. It's almost impossible. So we looked at the
Yeah.
drivers that created elements of poverty, or flipped it over, what are the ladders to enable people to maybe step out of poverty? And we looked and saw that education was a critical part of that. Keeping people in some form of structured or informal education to enable them to achieve some form of qualification opens up their horizons and hopefully allows them to achieve their potential. So we started off thinking, well, education is a really strong place for us to play in. And we know there are 400 million people, young people who are not in education, employment, or training, defined by the United Nations. So we thought that's a great demographic for us to try and focus on.
Mm.
So that was 3 years ago. Started looking for partners who could help us understand how we create an education platform online that enables schools, community groups, educators, and students to tap into some really easy to understand digital content to support their studies. And when we found Discovery Education, really, really strong leading organization in delivering education platforms or online education platforms. And we've really enjoyed working with them for the last 2 years. And through our partnership, we created something called Live to Learn, which you can find at livetolearn.org, and which is in partnership with Discovery Education, a huge library of resources for educators, community group leaders, and students to tap into to support their studies.
Brilliant, thanks. And sort of since the conception and development of that, how does the program now accommodate such a, diverse learning styles, different cultural backgrounds, just because this is in international schools across the world.
Yeah, firstly, we wanted to make it fun and exciting, and because we're a sport and we're golf, we felt, well, we can bring something to the education table, if you like, which is different, which will create a moment in a lesson, whether that's a structured lesson in class or whether that's something that you choose as an educator to give to a student to watch in their own free time, or a community group to use, where it's taken the subject matter out of the traditional classroom setting and applying the learnings in a golf setting. And many people might think, I don't really understand how a sport generally or how golf could work together. And actually, it's a beautiful match. So we've been building video content to demonstrate Newton's law of motion, and they've got 3 or 4 series around various Newtonian physics. Um, Simply using a video of one of our elite players swinging a golf club, and we can talk about friction, we can talk about motion, we can talk about the change in surfaces, which changes the ability for a ball to roll fast or roll slow if it's got long grass or short grass, and how much force is required to hit the ball, the components of wind or sun or rain, and how that affects the movement of a ball. So boiling that down to digestible content for young people to apply in a meaningful way has been really successful. And we found from a global point, actually the subject matter is resonates with all people wherever they're from. We have helped to facilitate that by creating translations in 4 languages at the moment. So we have English, Spanish, Korean, Arabic, and we'll be rolling out a couple more languages over the course of the next year. So we'll have some form of Mandarin, and we'll have another European language too, just to make sure we get as much cover as we possibly can to enable it to work. And we've kept the content short and digestible and reasonably flexible too. So we've created the video content. We've given a structured guide for the educator to look at and figure out when might they want to use that video content. But ultimately, we're not in the lesson with you. So it's really enough to give the educator a sense of there's something useful here. I can work out how to integrate this into my lesson plan, or do I give it as homework, or do I give it as just an extra learning resource just to consolidate the lesson that we've just had on Newtonian physics.
Yeah. It's amazing how diverse and accessible it's becoming. You've kind of started to tap into my next question. It's, our guest audience, we've got busy teachers and curriculum coordinators. So what are the ready-to-use resources that Live to Learn provides to make that implementation really seamless for educators?
We've got 3 or 4 different types of content, and actually, if you go on to livetolearn.org, you'll just be able to quite simply see how it's categorized. And I won't go through every single type of video because you can do that at some point and actually physically see it and watch it. So first, we've got classroom guides to enable the teacher. You don't need to have a ton of golf background. In fact, you don't need any golf background. It's just another resource for you to use to support the curriculum that you're teaching the students. But we have some educator guides for you, so you can determine how you might integrate this into your lesson. The content itself, we have some long form video content too. So we have a 20-minute video, which is quite a deep dive around sustainability. Again, golf is wonderful to talk about that. We're outdoors. Nature is really important to our sport. We put on events. So part of my job is making sure we decarbonize our supply chain, so we can break that down into meaningful language for anywhere between 11 and 14-year-olds. So we've got some really nice relevant content for you to produce. Similarly, around mental health and the important, we've interviewed with our elite players and the strength that they need mentally to carry on playing, or the demons they face if they're trying to play a shot. Now you can apply that to young people. So we have some long form content. We have some a lot of sort of short fire 5-minute content, which is just to enhance the learning point or the learning objective that you've set for that day's lesson. That you can just kind of use it to consolidate. Here's a short 3 to 5-minute video just to summarize the plan that we've been trying to do, or the objective we've been trying to deliver over the last week or two, or lesson or two. And working with Discovery Education, who are genuine educators, so you can tell I'm not an out-and-out educator, has been really supportive because they understand the curriculum-based learning methodology. They understand where a child should be around the world at any point in their annual year, whether in year 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10, where they should be based on a subject. So we've been able to build our content around where they might be in that journey through. And then we've got a lot of sort of online chapters that people can read and look at as well. So knowing there are different learning styles for some some young people, video content's amazing, but it quite often is. I have three sons, so I also understand. I'll look at something and watch it, and it's great, but a few minutes later they've probably forgotten it. So we need to back it up with some written text as well, which again a teacher can use to say, here's a video, let's watch it together, questions and answers. What do you think? And here's some written text behind it, so you can take it away and read or ask some questions around it. So hopefully we've covered a reasonably good spread to enable educators to get the best out of it.
Yeah, and talking of that sort of adaptability, how adaptable are resources for different age groups? I think we've already sort of touched on learning environments and how it is adaptable for different countries. But yeah, how diverse is it for the different age groups?
Again, it very much comes down to the teacher, the educator themselves, and how they feel about using it. We built it with Discovery Education specifically to focus when we first started out on this journey, sort of the 11 to 15, 11 to 14, 11 to 15 age group. That's sort of, I guess that's key stage three in the UK at least. Which is where I'm based, but roughly around that sort of pathway, sort of starting secondary school and getting their first 3-4 years of learning before they hit their exams at GCSE level. So roughly the content was built around that 11 to 14, 15 age group. What we found, and through Discovery Education, we've done quite a lot of research with educators, is that a lot of educators have also, I think of something like 76%, have also trialed it with age groups between 6 and 10 as well, to some success. Now, obviously, the lower down that age bracket you get to the 6, the full learning is going to be a little bit different. It's because it's quite a nice video for them to understand the basics of STEM, but you're not going to ask them the same level of questions. But certainly from an engagement tool, it's very flexible and just helps consolidate the initial learnings. It's really engaging. So very flexible from 6 through to 14. We've got evidence of that. The core group are those 11 to 14-year-olds.
Yeah. I was wondering if you have any feedback that you wanted to share, perhaps from educators that have used the programme and what the impacts had on the student engagement and learning outcomes.
Yeah, we've seen again through Discovery Education, they've run a lot of ongoing surveys for us. We want to use data as much as we can to improve things or see where there are some gaps in the video content that we might want to fill in next year. And we're fortunate that our season runs February through to end of August, give or take, with 14 events around the world. So we have opportunities during the year to actually go to events and video and film real life action with Discovery Education, so they can get that real content with the with elite players, and we can top up any areas where we think we need some more support. The feedback has been, as I'm sure you can imagine, really positive. So we've had something like 76 or 77% of educators have seen a marked improvement in the concentration and focus of their students around that particular subject. I mean, it's not going to change the students' lives for the whole school day, but when you come in to just talk about a particular subject, and I've talked about Newtonian physics a few times because it's the one that sticks out for me, but we do have sustainability, we have life skills and mental health. We've also got other areas of mathematics and arts as well. They give everyone a behind the scenes tours of how we put our broadcast package together and the storytelling that you need and the different components and different roles you need to create a really strong broadcast package, which is actually very artistic. We have a session around agronomy, and we've got one of our agronomists talking about the importance of soil analysis and grass types, and why agronomy and sustainability is really important to golf and how you can apply it to your own world. We've got Newtonian physics, so a real nice blend. We've got about 71% of educators have said that there's been high engagement in the class when they've played the videos or used the content. There's again everything's roughly in the 70 to 80% of positive feedback around the flexibility around being able to adapt the content into their own lesson plans without any prior sports knowledge, let alone golf knowledge, and which is really encouraging to hear, because we wanted to just use the sport as a way to help deliver education as opposed to the other way around, and use education to deliver sport. It almost doesn't matter whether you know or care or love golf or have any favorite golfers or not. It doesn't really matter. It's just applying a different approach to delivering a lesson plan or a content to enable young people to stay engaged in the subject matter.
Yeah, that's some fantastic feedback. And like you say, I mean, I'm not a keen golfer and it's not something I watch, but I think it's amazing to see how something that might be unrelated to you can, just
Mm.
fit in like that. And I think that's a really powerful tool for teachers.
Yeah, thank you. I've just we wanted to do something a little bit different anyway. Other sports
Yeah.
certainly lean into education. Of course they do. Um, we're unique. We're a little bit like Formula One motor racing, which more people might be aware of. Which is, Formula One and Live Golf are a sporting rights holder that puts on a league around the world, puts on events around the world. And then you have teams in motorsport, it'll be a Ferrari and a McLaren and whoever else it might be. And in golf, we've got our teams who then compete, and we've got golfers within the teams. And because we're global, we're the only golf organization, the only golf league in the world that is so global. Um, we felt we had the responsibility to enable a global population to tap into the work we're doing on the course, but also build something for them to tap into off the course that they can apply in their daily life. So we feel privileged that we have that opportunity. And we're really excited that we can bring a different sport to cement the foundations of those early stage learning building blocks, particularly around STEM.
Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant. Well, my final question for you is if you want to give a key message for our guest community about the transformative potential of Live to Learn.
Yeah, great sales pitch. Please log on. I'm sure there'll be a link after this conversation. I'm sure in your notes or something. But if it's not, it's Live LIV. We Live Golf, so LIV, and then to learn TO, and then LEARN.org. So live2learn.org. Get on there, check it out, and you'll and the way we've built it again is you get to select the language, so it's applicable with subtitles, and it's full of different component parts. So you can, but it's linked back very much to the curriculum that you're teaching. So you'll be able to very easily navigate which parts of the Live to Learn platform are relevant for your day, your week, your class, and just go and check out some of the video content and see how you can help transform the lives of the young people, which you're doing already. The For us, it's transformative for many reasons. One, obviously the actual outcomes are students are more engaged, they're happy, they're enjoying, they use it as a useful, fun extra resource to solidify their learning. Teachers have found it very easy to use and it's quite helpful for them. The feedback we've had is to just give them so many educators are desperate for more resources and are having to do so much work behind the scenes in their own time to come up with innovative ways of or innovative examples to try to cement some of that learning. So we just wanted to help and give you something that you can check out yourself. And then for us, I mean, internally, our staff love it. It's really, helpful for us to be able to say this is how we're delivering impact globally. And in the communities where we operate at every event, we're able to get iPads in our fan village so that just families and kids who come along to the event anyway, they're not going through a formal Live to Learn program at their school, but they can come and check it out in the fan village and just play around with some of the videos and listen to it. We're able to talk about it with our community leaders who we engage with when we do go and put an event on, whether that's a charity or a not-for-profit or a golf federation. Again, it's another asset for us to be able to show, and then they can pick it up because it is free. We want people to start using it. And then the final point is we work very closely with the United Nations and supporting refugee communities around the world where we don't put events on, and some of those people who are at the most marginalized edges of society. And having a free online resource might be the only education they receive in that week. So again, transformation wise is really helpful. And as I say, humbling and a privilege to be able to say, well, we're at least providing something for people who really need to stay on the pathway of education as they go through difficult times.
Thank you so much, and thank you in general for chatting to me today. It's been really interesting to hear about the Live to Learn program, and there's lots of exciting developments going on. So, for everyone listening, watch this space and go check out the Live to Learn program.
Yeah, well, thank you. And thank you so much for having me. I'm sorry I'm not there in person, but I hope everyone has a fantastic day today.
Yeah. Thank you, Jake.